We're rolling.
Rolling.
Hell yeah. So, welcome to episode 0 of the Hoedown Podcast, the podcast that nobody asked for and that we don't know how to make.
Right.
So, this is going to be like the my passion is graphic design meme, except for instead of a terrible MS Paint image, it's us trying to do a video podcast with literally nothing planned.
Right.
Except for our nice background and some snacks.
Looks good.
Yeah.
The duck looks good.
Yes, thank you. The duck that came from God knows what generation in this house, but yeah.
House was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to my alcoholic grandfather for building this explicitly so that he could listen to John Philip Sousa at levels that the old neighbors have recounted to me. Like, evidently he would be listening to John Philip Sousa records at such a volume that the neighbors off of the 50-acre property that we are on would be hearing and enjoying is maybe a strong word, but yeah.
You should bring it back.
Yeah, no. Yeah, John Philip Sousa, I'm not a huge fan of not a huge fan of big band music or marching band music, I guess. So yeah, this is
all military bands are pretty much part of my childhood, so
yeah,
always.
Yeah, because you're a military brat, right?
All the time.
So
taps, that's normal.
Yeah,
in the middle of the day.
Super cool just to get you pumped. Yes, I love it. Friday, do not eat our cookies. Those are our cookies for us to make mouth noises on mic with. Thank you very much.
We have to see what it sounds like when we eat.
Yeah. Probably not hold the mic too close to my mouth when we do that. You know, I'm so sensitive to mouth noises on mic, but yet I have decided to set us up with multiple beverages and snacks.
See what it sounds like.
Friday, do not eat the peppers. Those are Amanda's contributions. Oh yeah, I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Oh,
that's probably worth doing at some point. So my name is Alyssa. This is Amanda.
And Friday.
And this is the pod dog Friday. Yes, thank you for saying hi, Friday. We'll see what kind of a pest she is. Great, wonderful. This is going swimmingly.
I brought you treats too, so you can crunch on camera.
Yeah, I mean people would probably be more forgiving of that than me, but she took her chicken head out and she put it in the kitchen now, so I don't know why. I guess she didn't want to feel like we were going to steal it from her. So, so ostensibly this podcast is us just hanging out and chatting. We both have various backgrounds in sort of like homesteading, farming, food, that kind of stuff. I mean, we met because I decided after 6 years of living down here, that I was actually going to finally start farming. And so I was like, I'm going to go meet my farming neighbors. And I had driven past your place, a million times because you live right across the road from me, and finally got around to it. And so we've only known each other since May or something.
Right.
But we're both insane and unsuccessful farmers.
And
so
well, right. We I was already in it for the season in May, so I was in the middle. And honestly, your baked goods are amazing.
Well, it's what I have to offer, right? Because I just got started farming, so I was like, well, what can I trade for, your time? And I always feel bad. I feel bad like eating up somebody's time, and so I was just like, well, the least I can do is like bring snacks. So
definitely, by May, the farm is in full swing,
and
I have no time to bake anything, and definitely having somebody to bring over baked goods.
Yeah.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah, it's been a valuable exchange of resources, because I can always just like hit you up for eggs and whatever.
We have so much food not baked.
Yeah.
At the farm to trade for baked goods.
Yes. So You started what, like 5 years? Well, no, you started before, but you've been at your current place for like 5 years,
Yes.
right?
And we went full farm once we bought the property, and we put in everything that we wanted. We wanted a market farm, and we wanted all of it. We wanted the vegetables.
To your own detriment.
Right. The vegetables, every single meat. We wanted to be able to service everyone with every part of the farm. Completely transparent with what we do with our animals. So we are always going 100%.
Yeah, how's that worked out for you?
It's been very busy. So Alyssa coming over and adding to the workload, or taking away from my workload, has been amazing.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've done that much, but it's been fun. Like hanging out, and I grew up in Pennsylvania. Half of my family is from up there. The other half is from down here, but they're all dead now. And I grew up in Pennsylvania helping out on the family farm up there. Like, one of my first jobs was helping to bale straw in the summers, and as a little kid, just like hucking bales of straw around haylofts and stuff. And we have pigs up there as well, but I wasn't really involved in that part of things, although there's a lot of pictures of me with pigs as a tiny little child, which are adorable. But we also, I was like a 4-H kid growing up, and we had rabbits and goats at our house in the woods. And we just like had a full-on menagerie. We had quail for a little while. But weirdly, despite growing up, in this like sort of farming environment, like, we didn't harvest quail eggs. We didn't really, like, the pigs just got sold and like just sold off like live by the pound, and we never like had them like butchered and got that meat back or anything. Honestly, the food culture that I grew up with was like kind of not great. Like, for having all of these resources and having this farming family, I didn't actually grow up with a huge amount of knowledge about how to use that food, or since we grew up, my parents and my house was in the woods. We didn't have like a garden, so we didn't really know anything about like growing food to eat. There were some little bits and pieces, like they would grow a patch of sweet corn back at the family farm, and we would have a night once a year where everybody got together, and we would like boil a bunch of sweet corn and be like cutting it off the cobs and like freezing it and stuff. That was pretty much like it, though, outside of my dad hunting, which was a pretty significant portion of the food that we ate. But yeah, I don't feel like I really learned much about like self-sufficiency or really even farming on a hands-on level, because that farm is like 250 acres or something. It's mechanized, and it's
Right.
it's like feed corn and soybeans and wheat and straw, and that's just in rotation. And so it's nothing that you really use. You plant it, you spray it, you fertilize it, you combine it, you take it to the mill, and there it is. It's just, it's commodity farming. So I didn't really learn anything about what what you and I kind of are doing or attempting to do or want to
Right.
do now. So I had this background, but, it's only kind of relevant in a sort of very loose philosophical sense,
Right.
So
I have no background in farming at all, and just going to county fairs, looking at animals. Oh
Yeah.
we want that.
Yeah.
Oh, when we have the farm, we'll have that too. We just started having all of the things and having to learn on the fly.
Yeah.
And it's been fun.
Oh, did Amanda break her mic? Whoop.
Oh.
Are you trying to break my mic? Awesome.
It's been fun to learn as we go, but it's also been eye-opening that there's a lot more to every aspect, and more animals, more problems. So we had lots of issues, but we for the last 5 years have really learned so much
Yeah.
more than we ever thought that we would, really.
Yeah, people don't realize how much of a diverse sort of skill set and knowledge base you need to have to be able to do farming. I think people think that it's like, oh, like these dumb hicks can just like do it,
you just put
whatever.
a seed in the ground and it grows.
So there is so much specialized knowledge, and the more products or animals or vegetables or fruits or whatever you get into, that comes with its whole other sort of textbook of knowledge that you need to learn.
Right.
And especially with animals that you're learning in a life and death sort of environment.
Exactly.
Like if your goats get sick and you don't know how to take what they're suffering from, how to take care of them, you are then coping with the premature death of an animal, which not only comes with like financial expense from the loss of an animal and all of the feed that went into it and all of that, but like the emotional reality as
Plus,
well.
Yeah, we have over 30 goats at the farm, and they're pets. They graze the grass for us. They, keep the farm, clean, right? They eat all of our weeds off the side and everything. But we take, really good care of them, and that's a lot of work. And that's just one aspect of the farm. So we really like what we do. We just are doing a lot at the farm. But it's been really, really fun to do this with our children. And that's really what made us start doing this in the first place. We had our children, and then I was making all of their baby food, and I was looking for better meat and better produce to feed the children. So we started growing our own food, and then little by little adding more of that homestead mentality to us. And then once we bought the farm, then it was like, oh, well, other people are excited about this too.
Mm-hmm.
So we really appreciate the fact that we can do what we're doing, because we know that we're eating the best food that we could possibly create.
Yeah.
And that really is the driving force for us, is feeding our family the best food.
Yeah.
And knowing that we are what we eat, right?
Yeah.
So we're growing our land for, us to be the healthiest that we can be.
Yeah. And I mean, beyond the like sort of high-minded, sort of philosophical sort of reality, I think once you start gardening or farming, even on like the smallest possible level, and you have like a tomato that you grow instead of some bullshit that you got from the grocery store, you're ruined. Like you get ruined so fast.
Yes.
Because the quality difference is just like it absolutely, it's a chasm of difference between grocery store produce and, the stuff that you grow yourself. Even though, if you figure it out, I'm like, oh, well, we eat so well, and we're so, it saves us money, Ultimately, I'm not sure how much money it saves me, because, there's there's all of the, well, we had to buy, drip tape, and, we had to buy, landscaping fabric, and, we had to buy this, that, and the other thing, but it's hard to put a price on, how much better, the quality
and
is.
then nutrient dense food versus the stuff that you're getting at the store. And that's what, when the kids were little, I mean, it's very important for them to get the best when they're growing at such a young age. So buying that jar baby food was not my deal, right? Like ham in a jar.
Ew.
It was no. Yeah. So we couldn't stop what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then we, people were excited about it. So, and now we have so many customers that can't eat other chicken. Yeah. Can't eat other pork because it doesn't taste as good.
Yeah, man. I mean, I started getting chicken from you, this summer, and then I was out grocery shopping, and I was just like, I'm not going to bother Amanda today. Like, I have other stuff, and I got some, like, grocery store chicken. I was just like, this is putrid comparatively.
I mean,
like it is not even the same food.
It's night and day.
Yeah.
And honestly, like once you learn what is in the grocery store chicken,
Yeah.
included in that packaging, you can't unlearn that. So
Yeah.
like once you know like how that chicken is raised, you can't unlearn that.
Yeah.
So all of those things are, you see the sad chicken trucks drive by. That chicken had a really disgusting, sad life.
Yeah.
And it has that disgusting, sad life in its meat.
Yeah.
And then it gets processed in a sad way. And then it has more sadness in the meat.
Injected into it.
And then it gets sitting in a slurry of sadness that also, because of science and osmosis, sucks up the sadness again. And it's just...
Yeah, it's not good. And you can taste that it's not good.
And side-by-side comparison is just night and day. And the same with our pork. And I say that about any farm fresh meat because it really is a completely different taste. It's a completely different flavor, and it's definitely better.
Yeah.
Like for you in every aspect of the...
Yeah. And it's so much, I mean, it's way better to cook with, like my end is more as the,
right, exactly.
like in the kitchen end of things, because like Amanda has this incredible, farm, and I am not at the point where I have my own animals. I grow, my own herbs and vegetables and, stuff like that. But my meat is coming from Amanda at this point, which is awesome because now I don't feel like I need to have a flock of chickens, which I've been putting off for ages, anyway. And I love animals. I love that I have a friend that I can go hang out with her animals. And
a lot of people appreciate that we do a lot of the hard work.
Yeah.
Because really it is, I mean, it's all the meat is good.
Yeah.
So it's not, we have lots of customers that appreciate that we do this because it does make a difference for their dinner table.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a huge difference to be able to have, that kind of quality. And it's challenging. It's still really challenging to have a small farm, down in this area. I mean, there's a lot of people that really, really do appreciate, farm to table, sort of cooking, and really acknowledge how different, the quality is. But, we live in a rural area, it's not a particularly high income area, although there are, people that can afford that price difference. There's a lot more people that in theory support small farming than actually in practice, which is something that, you have encountered in
is frustrating.
In a much more significant and sort of impactful way than I have. Like, I've observed it, and that has informed my choice to not do certain things with our project. Because when we started, and I was just like, well, I'm just gonna have like a little thing and it'll just be for us. And then I just, I've been sort of homesteading for, since before we were here, because we had a little homestead sort of thing going on in Detroit. And I never tried to sell anything there. It was just like, this is just for us. And because, it was a learning experience for me. And, that's what I sort of initially thought doing it down here. But then I was like, well, we have so much space, and, I really like growing heirlooms and weird stuff and herbs and things that you cannot buy, even from the other local small farms down here. And I was like, well, maybe I will try and sell it. And then the more I sort of, watched your experience, and not just yours, but, but others. And I visited all the local farmers markets, and, really kind of reckoned with the fact that even if there are a lot of people who want to support that, realistically, I can't sell like a bunch of herbs for more than $5. And even the people that are going to buy a $5 bunch of herbs are like pretty few and far between.
Right.
The amount of labor that goes into not just growing, but then trying to market and actually sell produce, meat, whatever, is astronomical, and we just don't have enough people down here that will really be able to financially support that choice, for us to be a viable sort of business,
Right.
honestly. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who support it, but, you don't even end up breaking even. I
Right.
know you don't,
No.
I know maybe there's no way I broke even this year, but
And
it's just not, it's hard. I think that small farming can be possible and profitable and a viable financial path for some people, depending on the environment that they're in. If you're outside of Burlington, in Vermont or something, or you're outside of Montreal, you have an affluent and dense population where there is a really significant and established culture of supporting small farms and farmers markets and all of that stuff. Like, good on you. But down here, it's just, there's a lot of us who want it, but the competition is Walmart, and when
Right.
you have a lower income population, even the people that want to support it might not necessarily be able to afford to, and so that's just a reality that we have to reckon with down here.
And we've been pretty transparent with our pricing for the last few years, and we know that we're on the higher end because we are, we charge what it costs for us to raise that animal, and we have to pass those costs on to the customer. However, this year we have made a point to cut costs where we could to keep our prices the same this year. So that was really big for us, especially at the beginning of the year when egg prices went crazy.
Sky high. Yeah.
We made a post to make sure that everyone knew that we were not going to increase any of our prices. So we wanted to show that we were still going to do everything that we could to keep our prices the same. And we still didn't necessarily see the uptake in customers for that at all. And now the prices at the supermarkets, at Walmart and places are pretty comparable to what we are charging at the farm.
Yeah.
And they're still getting the lower quality of food at that establishment. So,
well, because
at
if
this
you need to
point,
get toilet bowl cleaner and eggs on the same day,
Right.
you're not doing it at the farm, unfortunately.
Correct. Right. So we are still, like I said, we are still a what we consider is our most affordable cost for the customer by keeping things at the farm.
Yeah.
So we did do a farmer's market this year, which then I had to increase some of my prices when I did go there because it does change the way what I bring to the farmer's market. So I did increase my price of eggs when I went to the farmer's market, but everything else at the farm has stayed the same. So we felt confident in that, and we thought that that was going to really help us out or give us a little bit of more of an edge this year. But we're still seeing like a lot of people still, the grocery pickup is just, it's convenient and easy. And I'm not saying I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Because I have. But I see that affecting a lot of small farmers.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate. And then little things like a lot of people got home, had chickens, backyard chickens in the last few years. So people on the side of the road selling eggs for $3 and having that, that's just, the people that are actually trying to make money on eggs aren't really making the money on eggs if you're selling eggs or giving them away.
And I mean, granted, like, you love to see it, you love to see more people, like doing their, but I mean, I think
ultimately you have to think about what you're.
Well, right. I mean, as a small farmer, which I think this is kind of the conclusion that both of us have come to over the last year, is just like, this is not a great business to be in. It is a great thing to do.
Right.
It's something that we both Friday. What? Do you have opinions on small farms? Yeah.
Or egg production.
Yeah.
I should have brought you some eggs.
Oh. What's up? Shh, shh, shh. We're podcasting here.
Your lip's stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, I know. It looks great.
Your lip is stuck in your teeth. It's better.
Good job. You fixed it. But you know that this is a great thing to do. You know that being as self-sufficient as you can is great. You know, growing your own food.
Right.
You know, having your own animals in whatever sort of dimension is feasible for you is great. Being a small farm, like I said, I think it's viable in some places, and I think that down here is unfortunately maybe not one of those places. You know, for some people it is. Like I know that there's a couple flower farmers around here who seem to be doing really well. You know, I think that there are some like sort of larger small farming enterprises who have found a way to grow some things and work with some local restaurants, and they have had some success. So I'm not trying to like poo-poo the whole thing, but in terms of like being a market farmer down here,
Right.
like it's just really tough. And eventually I've sort of just come around to like, yeah, I'm just gonna grow stuff for myself. I'm essentially just sort of shifting my goals to like homestead model. Like, and that doesn't necessarily mean only producing stuff for myself. I mean that it also includes like having enough that I can barter, with you,
Most definitely.
that I can barter. Like I have a hair appointment tomorrow that is paid for in herbs and things, great, perfect. I think, so I'm shifting more to a model of just like self-sufficiency, which also means, yeah, I still do, grow an excess of stuff, beyond what I need for myself, but,
Right.
To be able to gift, to be able to,
Exactly.
barter with, because self-sufficiency doesn't necessarily mean doing everything yourself. It means having a network of
Right.
people, that you can trade with, that you can work together with, so that everybody is provided for, insofar as, that's possible. So that's kind of what I've really shifted to, is just like trying to expand on that network, and those connections. Because I was like a total hermit up until this year. Like this is the first year that I'm like, maybe I should like get to know some people around here, and it's been wonderful. And that's part of what this project is,
Right.
as well. It's just like an excuse to get to know more people and figure out ways to work together, promote each other's businesses and whatever those might be, and skills, and yeah, see where it goes from
Right.
there. So
Well, we've definitely been planting trees and, I mean, so many things on the farm that in the future will, I mean, our orchard is going to be amazing in the future.
yeah, in
So
5,
at
10
this
years,
point, we've just
yeah.
been putting in so much work that we just have to wait kind of to see like what it's going to do.
Right.
And we're exhausted. So
Yeah.
we're just going to take like a year break and kind of see what parts
what parts are working and are sustainable,
right,
and that
and
you want to keep doing
we're just
as
going to
well,
fix
because
our systems.
yeah.
We just want we want it to be a little bit more less maintenance for us,
Mhm.
honestly, because at this point we're just doing so much that we want that joy to come back to the farm.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of work that you guys did this year is just like, I was just constantly concerned for your well-being because I was just like, there's no way you guys, how are you surviving this? Like, this is not a
honestly,
long-term solution,
You
like,
never know with every season what Mother Nature's going to throw at you,
yeah.
right? And then that is a normal curveball just that every farmer has to deal with,
Yeah.
right? But then on top of that, you have 6 different other systems that are also like having just, like a minor issue or something. But then that just, it's just so many things.
It's not farming
Right.
without the absolute constant chaos,
right?
And something new breaking on
Yeah.
every job that you try to do.
Mm-hmm. So just, and then having like the drought or having, just little things that kind of end up being a time suck that week, or,
Yeah.
just kind of throws you for a loop. And then we had lots of Palmer amaranth that we dealt with this year, which that was fun. And just quite a few just bumps again and again and again. So
so taking a year off to try to reflect on what you've kind of encountered over the last like 5 years
without having the worry of feeding CSA members is what our
so right now you're thinking like, okay, we're in your head, is it like a year break, just a year break, and then we'll see, like, because I know, you know, you've considered and reconsidered, and, you know, some things have happened that have, you know, sort of like shifted the sort of strategy over the focus of the farm year.
Basically.
So right now you're just thinking like, we'll take a year off and see where we're at.
Yeah,
after
honestly,
that point.
because we had just have like John weeded all the blueberries yesterday, and that is 170 blueberries. Like, that's a lot of berries.
Yeah.
Now they're all in different age groups, right? So we won't have like so many blueberries, but like that's going to be something that we will have next year, even though we're not going to be open to the public. So I will have plenty of blueberries.
I was going to say, so we're just going to be doing a lot of canning next year.
It's not like we won't have things, because we did put in.
Oh
like
no,
I said,
you will absolutely have a ton of stuff.
So much infrastructure this year, but so we're just gonna kind of see how we do next year if we take a year off from what we've been doing.
Yeah, and instead of focusing on like, okay, we need to be producing, you know, because we've got a weekly farmers market, we've got 2 days a week that we're open to the public, we've got CSA stuff. So instead of just to be able to release yourself from the obligation of like harvesting on a schedule, having people showing up, you know, like all of those concerns, and just say like, okay, let's like actually just see what we've got here, you know, because you guys have been in it, you know, like hardcore to the point where I think, just stepping back for a little bit.
And we did everything 100%. So anytime that we did like a 50-foot row, maybe do 2 50-foot rows.
Yeah.
So we always were having double or extra. And this year we'll have just for ourselves. And then kind of see. So we've already established.
Yeah, but you know you're still going to like overdo it.
So even though we know that we'll overdo it just for ourselves, it will be easier to maintain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so like
by a long shot.
I never get out to weed.
Yeah.
I never get out to weed. I guess I don't want to do it.
Yeah, because it sucks. That's why we have landscaping fabric and drip tape set up on our property, because like, fuck weeding, man. I've done that enough. I just don't feel
like I'm going to get the whole thing done when I go out there. So if I don't have time to do the whole thing, then I won't go out there. So I never go out there. So like
it's just like too much of a task.
So overwhelming.
Yeah.
So then I don't do that, which means then I spend like forever having to harvest the garlic.
Yeah, which was straight up like being in Vietnam, because I helped with that, and it was terrible. There is a better way. There is a much better way. And that is horrifying, and you should not set yourself up for that.
Exactly. And then that's like I said, that's the second year in a row that it was very similar, because we didn't have a lot of rain, so everything makes it a whole lot harder. So like things like, selling a head of garlic for $1. Yes, okay, it's $1, right? You have no idea what that was.
You do not know the blood, sweat, and screaming that went into that head of garlic.
And that was only one day of that.
Yeah.
Like there was so many more days of that.
Oh, yeah.
That was before that to keep it weeded and keep it going. So like there was just.
When you started when you started with the farm, did you start having like a CSA like the first year that you guys? So you've never had a year on that property where you were just like, we're going to just figure out the best practices for making this, something that we can do, that we can.
Every year was a new year of troubleshooting something new.
And you've been trying, and like your solution has just been like, just do more, and then we can sell more, and then maybe then we'll actually make enough money to, sort of offset those costs. So but you've never actually like had a year where you like sat down and you were like, well, let's try some weed berry. Let's experiment with some different methods here, to make things easier or try to like sort of streamline in any
We
ways.
did like yes.
I mean, I'm not trying to make you sound stupid
in
or
general,
anything.
yes, but then we also would add like another system.
Right.
So like we would add something else as well.
Yeah.
So then we would be also like troubleshooting that as in addition to, which is fine if it was the only thing that we were doing.
Right. There's just so many variables that you guys have been working with that you haven't really had a chance to sort of like step back, assess, which things need to go, which things to really focus on.
And we didn't ever want anything to go.
Right.
That's what a market farm is.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so we wanted to have
everything, a little bit of everything.
We want you to come and get beef, pork, chicken, eggs, and produce.
Yeah.
And then like some other things that we also grow at the farm.
Yeah.
So like we wanted everything, which we've done for the last 5 years. Everything that we sell is from our farm. And that's insane.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anybody else who's doing that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys have truly
Pop's old place.
Yeah, like
Pop's
you guys have truly like set yourself up to try and basically be like a grocery store, like to have like an extremely diverse amount of
as much as we can produce,
which is fucking awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, it's just like you get to learn the hands-on reality of how difficult and
that really
and
is.
labor intensive that is. Which is why I think, the more successful small farms that, you sort of see around, it's just like, oh, we just do flowers, and maybe some pumpkins in the fall or whatever, or we just, they're very sort of like focused on their niche.
Right.
Whereas you guys have what is essentially like a homestead model that you have blown up to try to, accommodate the public.
Right.
Which is just an insane amount. Like, I love that you're doing everything that you're doing. Like, I truly do. Like, it benefits me, it's great. You guys do a really great job. But, trying to make that work sort of commercially. And it's just you and your family doing the labor for the most part, too. Right. It's like you don't have employees because you already,
and this year,
you don't have the cost or the income to afford
correct.
By a long shot.
Like, I can't pay an employee because I don't necessarily pay myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
So, I'd probably pay myself first.
Yeah.
Because I like tacos and things.
Yeah.
But the children, 15 and 13, they are starting to actually live their own lives.
Yeah.
So they didn't necessarily want to do as much things this summer.
Yeah, which fair,
right.
Although tough because then your kid is letting the cattle out, and then I have to come over and chase them through the fields, and things happen. And then I get made fun of for wearing my Crocs.
Well,
to do so on 0 minutes notice.
It's true.
Because you broke your goddamn foot.
It's true, but you did have them in sport mode.
I did. But yeah, I mean, so it's tough because you can only expect a 15-year-old boy to,
right. And they are doing
sacrifice so much.
My goodness. But
I mean, there's
opens up and closes the chickens every single day.
Super helpful.
Right. So we couldn't do anything that we do without the kids. But we do want to give them a little bit of a break. So
I mean, you've all earned it. You've more than earned a break.
But most definitely the children. Yeah, they deserve. I don't know, to see the farm for what we've learned as opposed to what we have to do today.
Right. Yeah. To be like a source of wealth and not chores.
Right. Right. Exactly. So
which is tough to feel like when you're in the thick of it, like you guys have been.
So they're really helping out a lot right now, and then we'll figure out. We have lots of baby goats still for sale because we weaned all the moms, but they are all just hanging out.
I saw them sitting in the field
in
front of the house yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those are all of our intact males.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we moved all of our intact males with Simon and Garfunkel. So
Simon Simon and Garfunkel are the two baby steers,
Yes,
right?
the
Yeah.
Jersey steers that will be beef in 2025. Yeah, 2025.
Okay.
So all of our boys are all together.
Having a little bachelor party out
Yes,
there.
they fight all the time.
Oh,
It's
I'm sure.
very fun
Yeah.
to watch them.
Yeah.
So that's a little. They're cleaning around the blueberries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, goats are great.
Right.
Weed control. They're
Right.
great. And they're just like delightful animals in general.
Yeah.
I mean, intact male adult goats are like incredibly stinky and, but they're still fun.
They're
So,
they're adding more stink
yeah,
on the
daily?
daily
Yeah.
in front of you, and
Yeah. We had what are what are they, Nubian? No, they're Nigerian dwarfs,
Mhm.
right? Yes. So we had Nigerian dwarfs when I was growing up as well because my grandmother decided to get my sister and I goats for Easter one year because this is what my family does. It's just like, hey, isn't this fun? I don't know that it was even discussed with my family that much. It was just like my grandmother just decided that we were going to have goats, and so we had goats. I think we had a maximum of like 6. We had 1 male, and then we had 4 females, and then we would, breed them, and we would sell off baby goats,
Yeah.
in the springtime or summer or whatever, for a couple of years. But this was when I was in middle school, early high school. I don't remember. But like my job, much like your children, I would have to get up and, take care of feeding and watering like 30 rabbits in the morning and especially in the winter because, like everything's outside, obviously, like I would have to thaw out all of the rabbits' water bottles and I would have to like break up the water in the goats' like pails with a stick and stuff. So I was like up at 5 o'clock in the morning and an angry teen having to do, farm chores and stuff. There was one morning that I woke up and Taryn, the male goat, had like gotten out and he was just like wandering around the property and stuff. And I was just got to get him in. I had to like physically wrestle, a male goat that, was 2/3 my size probably. Because I mean, yeah, they're Nigerian dwarfs, but like a male adult, Nigerian dwarf is still like a good 70-pound animal or more. And, horns and stuff. And he was friendly, and this was like right before I had to like go catch the bus. I finally like got him back in his pen after having like physically like wrestled this guy, and I smelled like a goat at school all day. And I like this is like one of those like core memories that just like burned into my brain. I mean, I grew up in a rural school district, so it's not like I'm the only like farm kid, but the fact that I smelled like a male goat all day, I was just like so I can still like vividly remember that smell and the adolescent anxiety and shame that I felt like just moving through classes all day, just knowing that like I am just giving off this stench. It was horrifying.
John pulled up the truck the other day. He's like, all right, you want to come help us? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So let me get a sweatshirt on. So go get a sweatshirt, fresh out of the laundry.
Yeah.
Put a sweatshirt on, go out there, get in the back of the truck. He's like, oh, yeah, we're moving the goats. So I was like, fresh sweatshirt.
Yeah, not anymore.
It was fresh.
You're going to launder that bad boy 3 times before you get the smell out of it after that. Yeah, that is, you are not fresh after that
goat.
task.
I was like, it's fine. It's like, won't be wearing this to the football game.
No.
But yeah, Big Daddy Gene is he's putting out the vibe.
Yeah.
Out there. Yeah. He does a lot of the, lip raising and
Yeah.
He gets excited when you go over there, does that, and then he'll fight one of the other ones. So it's a fun little
spectacle.
Yeah.
So are you're selling the intact males that you
Yeah,
have
so
out
we
there?
do have we have 2 intact males that would be for sale. Maybe 3. I'm not sure. We were talking about one of the other ones last night. Maybe he should be for sale as well. And then we have a Weather and his sister.
Okay.
So like a pair that would go really
Yeah.
good together. And then all the other ones are females. So that would be 6, I think 6 females and then a pair and then 2 intact males is what our breeding yielded this year.
Yeah.
And a lot of milk.
Yeah. Not as
Right?
much as you anticipated,
Right,
but
you know,
how much milk?
I
Because
was
we need to do a soap making
yes, we do.
date at
I
some
know
point.
because I do have to get that milk out of the freezer.
Yeah, we should do that sometime soon for Christmas presents and stuff. Because
Yes,
God knows I don't have the money to actually buy any nice Christmas presents.
I know,
for
and they
anybody,
didn't really.
So.
My family didn't really like the Christmas lard, so maybe they would like
Weird.
this. I know. I thought Christmas lard was extremely useful.
Yeah, no, lard
You could
rules,
stick
but
a-
you are one of 2 people that I know that would like get excited about this. The other is like my
I
old
gave
friend
them-
from high school, Kelly, who lives on top of a mountain and, like we renders her own fat for things too.
I gave them like cookie mix too. Like they could make lard cookies. They could put a wick in it.
Yeah. You don't want to give them some beef tallow to rub on their bodies like you.
I saw Friday went over there and sniffed my boot.
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
It
She has a
smells-
thing with feet, but if you rub your feet
smells
in
like
beef
beef.
tallow, I'm sure she's gonna be
It smells like beef.
yeah,
Essential beef.
essentially beef.
Essential
Smells.
beef.
Yes.
It's got like some lavender, some patchouli, and beef.
Yeah, it's probably mostly still smells
Mostly
like
beef.
Yeah, but it's good for your body.
It is good. It is very good for your body.
But yeah, we should bake some goat soap soon.
Yes.
because then I can.
I have lots of molds,
Yeah,
so I don't know. We'll have to put it in molds
and fancy.
because I don't have a
molds.
box to cut it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't have supplies.
I don't either, but I mean, you can get that shit's cheap on, Amazon or whatever.
like-
Just like get some silicone soap molds. I'm sure that's not super expensive.
I have a friend who at the Mary Haven. I have a friend from the Mary Haven where I got my shirt. They gave me a whole bunch of soap molds.
Oh, nice.
So, and then she also purchased me some that have actual goat faces on
Aw.
them, which is super cute.
That is cute.
So, I'll have to see what she's got because I'm excited about goat soap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about goat soap.
Right?
And I've got, I've got plenty of herbs that we can,
Right.
Like just like a nice like lavender sea salt, I think
Yeah.
would be really good. So, and I've got plenty of lavender dried from this year. So,
Right. Or
yeah.
I was going to say we need to collab on that because
Mhm.
Yeah.
Rosemary's another really nice. It's good for your skin and hair and stuff. So
Yeah.
you can do some of that. I need to make like a little still for us so that we can start doing our own like essential oil extracts.
that would be good too.
I would like to do that at some point. And we've got glass blowing equipment, so we can make some bits and bobs that we need as well. 'Cause in addition to farming,
I did
have.
steam distillate
Yeah.
eugenol in organic chemistry.
Oh, hey! So with our powers combined,
You know what eugenol is from?
not really. No, maybe.
Cloves.
Oh, yeah.
Cloves.
I have a hard time remembering where every single different terpene
That's the
comes
only
from.
thing I know.
Yeah,
'Cause
only
it was the only,
eugenol.
it was the only one that we did in organic
You didn't
chemistry.
do any pinene.
No. But that was like our final project was
Nice.
steam distillation of eugenol.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
That's a fun project. That's the kind
Yeah.
of shit that I would do for a hobby. I mean,
So-
for sure. But I mean, I have too many hobbies and too much like random equipment from all of our various projects. But that's good. Because now we have a podcast studio, and that is partially because we had a weird old VHS camcorder
Right.
and some other stuff laying around. So it's not always bad to just be like collecting a bajillion different hobbies and professions
I
over
know.
the course of your life, and
Right?
then just keeping it in the attic until maybe someday it comes in handy. Who
I
knows?
cleaned out my she shed and everything, and I found all
She
of
shed.
my microbiology stuff that
Nice.
I had. So I'm like, oh, I can do my own fecal samples.
Great.
What?
Yes! My own fecal samples.
Yes.
So exciting. God, I'm so stoked
Right.
on this.
I mean,
I guess you are.
it's pretty classy.
Oh
over
yeah,
there in
yeah,
the she
we
shed,
are. Yeah, we are nothing if not classy ladies.
looking at poop. Typically I would have to take a baggie of poop all the way, to Salisbury and then wait.
Yeah. But
just
now,
look at it myself.
and this is what, examining for like parasites and
Yeah.
things like
So
that.
for my goat worm load, I can check my goat worm load from my she shed. I mean, it's
Yeah.
another thing I could do.
Yeah. And I mean, hey man, it's good to be able to do things like checking out your own worm load.
It's important.
No, I mean it super is. I mean, like too many worms will kill a goat. So
Another reason why we have all of our male goats up front,
yeah.
right? Because we can now, let the back kind of recoup and make sure that everybody is good on one side, and then kind of move them around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because moving your stuff around is pretty important for chickens, like mites. I think
That's
are
been
an
our
issue.
biggest struggle,
Yeah,
I
right?
think, or the biggest thorn in our side was the goats and their susceptibility to worms
Yeah.
and parasites,
Yeah.
and just making sure that we can check everybody all the time,
Yeah.
because they're just weak. It could go like in 24 hours. It could be different.
Well, you lost one or two this year from worms, didn't you?
I don't even, yeah.
Or it's the suspected.
Right. So it's just, and then there's very limited goat vets.
I was gonna say, like, what's
So-
the large animal or sort of farm animal vet situation down here? Because you'd think that it would be good because it's a farming area.
Yes, but it is poor
Mhm.
to say the least. And then there is an awesome vet that does farm calls, and he is the go-to. So if we ever had a major issue, he would be no doubt who I would call. However, it is a service that they come to your farm.
Yeah.
So that's the added cost. And then
Right.
it's per animal as well. You could do like with all of your herd, which would be obviously adding more cost, and that would be the best idea. But again, having so many aspects on the farm, we just don't have that as an added cost. So we do a
Right.
lot of the things that we do ourselves using the knowledge gathered from other goat owners that also use him as well.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, guy.
Yeah.
But also we use Tennessee Meat Goats website a lot. They are extremely knowledgeable about, like treatments for different things. In addition to just, our own research, and we've used extension office agents to,
Mhm.
ask questions about different plants that we have around the farm. So like we've learned a lot over the years, and some knowledge we use, some we don't, but we've figured out kind of what we're doing, and we
Yeah.
feel kind of confident. I feel more about the goats now than when we started out, but it was definitely a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
But like I said, they all look good right now, and that's kind
I
of
would
the way that
imagine
goats are. Like you just have to. Every day
Winter's
is a new day.
probably a little bit easier as far as like parasite concerns.
Once we get a really good freeze, then we're definitely not as worried.
Yeah.
Right. So now we're, as the cool weather's coming, like it's now more calm at the farm. Right?
Yeah.
Like now we're waiting for Thanksgiving turkeys to be done.
Yeah, when are we, or when are you? But I'm coming over to
The
help
11th.
process.
The 11th.
Ooh.
I also Kirsten's coming too,
Oh,
so that's good.
nice.
So that'll be fun, because
Yeah.
it'll be, it's not as bad as chickens.
Well, there's less birds.
there's less birds,
More guts.
and I feel like it's just larger
Yeah.
because it is more, but it's just it's easier. For
Yeah.
me. It's like if you had to got a huge tuna
Yeah.
versus a tiny perch.
Oh yeah. I mean, like,
It's to
yeah,
me,
it's
it's
just
like night and day.
Oh,
It's
for
so
sure.
much easier.
Yeah.
It's just larger.
yeah. It's easier to get your hand up in there.
Yeah.
Yank out all the
Yes,
the
it
good
is.
stuff. So
Evisceration is easier.
yeah.
So it's not
So-
necessarily something that we really look forward to doing. We actually do not like harvesting turkeys.
Yeah.
But it's a labor of love that we feel. We love the fact that we're on so many Thanksgiving tables.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm really stoked. I don't know. I think I've only gotten grocery store turkeys in the past.
Yeah.
Maybe there was like 1 year that I got like a proper turkey before.
Our turkey's the same way as our chicken, right?
Yeah.
It's night and day.
Oh, I'm sure it's
It's-
gonna be awesome. I'm so looking because I'm gonna brine it for like 3 days
Right.
too,
Yep.
and yeah, it's gonna.
I got my brine bags out,
Oh yeah.
but I might have to do a bucket. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it in a cooler.
I was gonna say
I think that's what I brined my turkey last year, and I just threw it in a cooler. And just let
mine
it
might have
chill.
to be in a bucket because we're not really sure the weights of these guys yet,
Yeah,
and we've had to slow their growth a little bit.
I was gonna say, are they looking big?
They so they got to be in the chicken tractors
Okay.
this year until they were too tall. Like
Yeah.
but they got to be in the field where the chickens were. So John had planted cover crop back there, so they ate clover. So they actually, our chickens and our turkeys basically got double fed,
Yeah.
right? Because they got to forage every day. They got the cover crop to eat. They had the feed to eat. So they were fattening up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
To the point where we were like, okay.
We
So
might have some unmanageably
Yeah.
large Thanksgiving turkeys.
But we just we know what we want them to look like, right, at a certain age group. So they've been eating a lot of leafy greens and things as well as
Yeah.
pumpkins in addition to their feed, but they're looking really, really good. So they just didn't need as much of a high protein feed as
Yeah.
in years past, where we thought that 1 year we had actually got our Thanksgiving turkeys. They were supposed to ship a week before, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't have enough turkeys to fulfill your order, so we'll be shipping them next week." So we got them a week later. So then that year we had to really we had to make up for that whole week.
Yeah.
So we had to make sure right.
right.
So we ended up getting them like game bird feed to try to get
Yeah.
them back up to, So, but the year before that, they were massive, and we had one that would not fit in somebody's oven.
Holy shit.
Now, sometimes they're impressive, and people really want them,
Yeah.
so it's great.
Yeah.
But I did have Ranger Bob 1 year had to cut his in half. He sent me a video of him with like a sawzall.
Jesus. That's one way to do it.
I mean, it was a way.
Yeah. You could just like piece it out.
He
too,
could've. He
my
could've.
dude. You didn't need to get the sawzall out.
You don't know Ranger Bob.
No, I don't know Ranger Bob.
Nope.
You know all of the colorful local characters down here.
Just
I
saying,
know
Ranger
very
Bob
few.
definitely cut that in half with a sawzall, and it was
Hey, man.
yeah.
Use what you got. I mean, I love it, but also you didn't
Yeah.
need to go that hard.
I
Bob.
think my parents also cut theirs in half, but I thought that I think they did two different things with it. Like,
Yeah.
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 I was just like,
Alright.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to turkey this year. It's gonna be fun.
and then any of the ones that we don't sell, we'll just
just freeze.
piece.
Oh, you're just
Yeah,
gonna piece
we'll
out.
piece them up, and then I have a friend who might grind us some turkey.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we could have some ground turkey.
That's always nice to have on
Yeah.
hand. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have a meat grinder here too, so
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I mean, when I process deer from hunting, like most of it gets ground. Well, no, it depends on what I need. So
we have two friends that have been helping us for a few years with our turkeys and our chickens, and they typically raise their turkeys, and then they have a couple for Thanksgiving, and then grind up the rest.
Yeah.
So I never would have done that had they not done that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, that's fine, because we have ground pork.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, realistically, like I don't know the last time I ate ground turkey. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like
John thinks it's sad.
He thinks it's sad.
Mm-hmm. He's a sad meat.
Yeah, I mean,
not our turkey.
Yeah, no, but just in general,
it's like not doesn't have enough fat in it.
Well,
to
yeah,
be really flavorful.
That's the thing. Yeah, about certain meats is that you do need to learn like how to treat them so that they're good. Right. And I feel like turkey is one of those that is really can be very, very tough. Like it's such a traditional food. It's like an American holiday staple. But like the amount of bad turkey that I have had far and away outweighs the amount of good turkey. Like people just really don't know what the hell they're doing with food.
Right. And when I was making like the kids like all their baby food, I was, experimenting with different things. And I just remember making turkey burgers and sweet potato fries one time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if
like
you're gonna
turkey burgers,
if you're gonna use ground turkey, like you need to be adding fat to it, right? Because it's just too lean, and like then you don't. It's dry. It doesn't have enough flavor to it.
But our turkey is better, so I have to say our ground turkey is better. But it's still ground turkey versus ground pork.
Yeah, I mean, like I hunt and I grind up venison, and it's great. It is the highest quality meat that you can get. It is wild, meat. It's great, but it's still ass if you don't add lard to it. If you're making venison burgers, you need
I will
fat.
drop by on that day and bring you some bacon.
Okay.
Because
your bacon is incredible. That
jowl
bacon is like
the ground deer meat with bacon ground into it.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
I haven't done that yet, but I mean,
that's something that I like a lot.
Yeah, I can absolutely make that happen for you. I still haven't.
So when you
shot
get a deer,
anything,
just let me know.
Hopefully, maybe this week we'll see. I was supposed to go out last night, but it was super windy the last 2 days, and they just don't really like moving around. I mean, up to a point, it's not an issue, but like it was like 20-mile-an-hour winds. Last night I was just like, that's not. I don't want to be like moving around in that. And I had gone out on Saturday night, and the trees are like I'm getting like seasick sitting in my stand out there, and nothing's moving around anyway. So I skipped it last night, but tonight and tomorrow night I need to get out and see because of course I passed up a really nice buck on the opening day of archery season because I had the farmer's market the next day, and I was just like, I do not have the energy to haul 100-pound deer back out of the woods, gut it, skin it, quarter it. It was still warm enough that you can't just like let something hang overnight when it's 65 degrees overnight. That's not happening, so it's a lot of labor, because I don't take it to the butcher. I butcher everything myself. So it was a lot, and I didn't have the energy. And of course I have not seen anything worth shooting since I did that. So, and I texted my dad as soon as it happened because I wouldn't be hunting without, giving my dad an opportunity to give me a lot of grief about it. And I was just like, I know I have brought shame on the family by not shooting this deer. He gave me like 2 minutes broadside, just standing there hanging out. It was early enough in the day too that it wouldn't have even been like, oh, I have to go find this deer in the dark. Or no, it was perfect opportunity. I didn't take it because I was sleepy. I mean, what are you gonna do? I made the right choice, but also now I am paying for that choice because I've seen like 1 or 2 like little spikes. The last couple times I've been out, I haven't seen anything though, because the deer are so spooky down here that once it's like 2 weeks into the season, they're like pretty much fully nocturnal.
We can always check my area too.
Yeah,
I have tiny area.
I mean, once it's getting to be like pre-rut now, so I've started to see a couple buck hit on the side of the road. That's how you know they're starting to move
Yes.
around. They're getting
And
stupid.
we have a piebald.
Oh, do you? Well, I'm not shooting that though.
No,
That's
but you
really
should
bad
look at
luck.
it.
Yeah, we had almost a fully white one a couple of years ago, and actually
I don't know
siblings.
that we've seen it like the, you know, like I haven't seen it this year, but
Yeah.
Brandon had his trail cam out there. So
Yeah,
he let Davis borrow it out there so we could see what was
Yeah.
out there. It was mostly Davis.
Yeah.
We saw mostly Davis on
yeah, yeah.
I took lots of pictures of Davis on there. Right? Like,
Oh man, the amount of like deeply unflattering pictures of my fucking face on the trail cams is bad. Because
I
like
laughed really
obviously
hard about
every time
this.
I'm like, you know, passing by or go to change
Yes.
the cards or whatever, it's just like me and this
It was always
pulling a
Davis.
terrible mug.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just the worst. Not you know, you don't get any glamour shots.
But
Well,
not-
every once in a while you get like a really nice shot of like a bird in flight, you
Right,
know, like
yeah.
at the perfect time of day, and yeah, but otherwise, yeah. Mostly pictures of me looking gnarly. And yeah.
I did find another project in the she shed.
Oh yeah, what's that?
So
Does it involve fecal worm load?
No, but so you do you ever do anything with the hide?
I have like last year I saved the hide for a minute because I was like, this is the year I'm actually gonna. Well, I just put it in a bag and I put it in the freezer, and I was just like, you know.
So do you still have it?
No, I ended up getting rid of it because I was like, I needed to clean out the freezer and actually make room for like food and stuff in there, and I got rid of it. I had done a really nice clean job of skinning the animal though, so I was like, I'm gonna save this one, and you know, I'll process this, and I just didn't end up getting around to it. So that is a project that I have been meaning to undertake for a while is processing hides, but I haven't done it yet. So
Well, we can add that to your list.
Yeah.
Because I may or may not have a large salted hide
Okay.
that probably was not nicely done, skinned or whatever.
Yeah.
And it has things attached to it, probably still.
Things like what kind of things?
Like, we'll have to look at it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like more of a threat than an opportunity.
And then underneath that are a whole bunch of salted rabbit hides.
Okay. Nice.
I just didn't ever have a chance to get to them.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that because I had salt on them that they would be fine. And they might be fine.
They might be super gnarly.
But I found
who
the
knows?
bin. And I moved the bin out of the she shed and put it back in the she shed.
Yeah.
So it's a bin of salted hides that
Okay.
we can tackle as well.
Yeah. We could ask Trisha about that as well, because I know that they process, you know, their deer or their sheepskins and stuff.
Yes.
And she actually has a little bit more knowledge about that, I think, than
So
either
we
of us do.
did the
So-
rabbit hides together.
Okay.
As our first.
Okay.
So my first, hey, Trisha, you ever done this?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, let's do it. So we did one, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like something that like me
Okay.
and you are just hanging out for all day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
no, it is a labor intensive
Every
process.
week, once a week, like, because you have to like keep stretching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot. We did it in like one afternoon that we were kind of like playing around with it to see like how it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's a lot of labor.
Yeah.
But we did successfully do it. So I do have some rabbit hides that don't look terrible.
Yeah.
But it's not a rabbit hat like I promised Davis.
A rabbit hat.
Like a coonskin hat, but
Oh, okay.
with rabbit.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Yeah. No, I mean, that's great. Like, I would love to have, you know,
So
I would love to be able to, like,
a while ago that I found this bin of things for us
Nice.
to do.
yeah, I mean, winter projects.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And it really does. It needs to be cold for us to do it because I
Right.
really don't know what.
If it's going to be
Mhm.
stinky, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did find all of the pieces, like, you know, like the scraper and all of the
Okay, cool. Yeah.
accoutrements that I
Yeah.
had bought for it.
Yeah.
I just, like, it's rabbits were this big, right? So
Mhm.
those were easier for me to at least practice with
Right.
Trisha. And then I was like, I I'm not even gonna take the deer hide out because that's like I would need another person. I need people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a lot of stretching.
Yeah.
And I feel like with the deer hide, I'd have to like I was watching the like Alaska Frontier or something like that of the guy Eustace doing it. And
Oh, Mountain Man?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
hell yeah.
Okay, I need that.
Marty, is it Marty? No, I like the old guy that's married. He does a lot of like trapping and stuff.
Yeah.
Not the guy with the plane. That's
Right.
Marty, I think. Although I mean he's good too, but the guy that he just like snowmobiles around and he's like ancient and seems like the chillest guy.
I was
love
just like
him.
flipping
He's so
through
comforting.
and it was like convenient that it was like a hide and I was like, yes, I need to watch just for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
he makes it look easy because he's been doing it for approximately
Forever.
1,000 years. So
and I'm like, my fingers hurt.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I fully intend on like destroying whatever I attempt, the first couple of times.
Well, that's why I had like Trisha and I had my friend Tara over, and I was like, look, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not doing the brain method.
Right.
Because I have no brains of these animals.
Right.
So we did the egg method.
Okay.
And it worked. I mean, very nice and soft.
Yeah.
But could be better.
I didn't even know you could use eggs. But I haven't.
Because it has a brain in it.
Yeah, I guess so.
It has a brain in it.
I mean, I guess it's got all of the requisite parts for
to
making
make
a brain.
Chicken.
Yeah. So.
I was like, that's so much more convenient than a brain.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like, if I shoot a deer, it's like I have the brain handy. So I have thought about doing that before, but it's just, haven't gotten around to it.
No.
So
I like was looking up the method and I was like, no, I'm not. I mean, no. Rabbit brain.
yeah.
We already did not necessarily like processing rabbits because
They yell,
they're cute
and they're cute.
and they know.
Yeah.
Like it's not. They're fierce animals. They're not.
Oh yeah.
They're not
yeah.
like a chicken and a turkey. Yes, they have talons, but they're not.
They're
like
kinda
they don't
just, like-
necessarily like know.
Yeah,
I guess
they're
that's happening.
pretty
I
dumb.
don't-
Yeah, like rabbits are like they are fully like prey animals. They know it. They're constantly just like in threat of dying.
Yes.
And very like aware of that threat.
Yeah.
And like they scream and
We had New Zealand Reds,
Okay.
and we had only a few in Salisbury, and we were just breeding them and then harvesting their children. And we had a couple people that were buying them as to eat them as basically oven roaster rabbits.
Yeah.
They were pretty nice size. And then when we moved to Pittsville, we doubled down on everything again. So
Yeah.
we had, at one point, I think we had like 18 babies, and nobody wanted to eat them again.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, so we ended up selling our babies as breeding stock.
Yeah.
So we didn't necessarily have to harvest anymore because we didn't like it, and they weren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then we were just down with we just kind of like let them live their lives and hung out in the tractor.
Yeah.
So we don't harvest rabbits anymore because it was not fun.
Yeah.
And I still have pelts because I didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see if we
Yeah.
can do something with them.
But
Who
we
knows?
definitely we've had people ask about rabbit this year, and I'm just like, no, we
Not
don't.
worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to do literally everything that you possibly
Right.
could,
Yeah.
That's
But that
fine.
was one thing that we did stop doing when it didn't make us
Hey,
money.
congratulations. You eliminated one thing.
Well, I got a deer now, so I have to process it here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Never seen that before. That'll be
help?
fun. No, I just looked and thought it was gross.
Kind of gross. I mean, the gutting part is like, and it's not gross.
Yeah.
It's not gross.
I mean, it
exactly.
wasn't-
I mean, it can be if you gut shot them. It's real gross, but
I was gonna say it wasn't like it was more about the fact that it was like nothing was happening at the farm, and then now I have an animal that he's gutting on the farm. It was just a Saturday. And then he's like, here's the hide. I'm like, think I have enough salt.
Yeah. Yeah, because you definitely want to salt the hell out of it,
Right,
you know, to
right.
keep it from getting really nasty. So,
We'll see.
yeah, I didn't even salt the one that I saved. I just like
Well,
folded it up and put it in the freezer. And I was like, to do later. And then actually, I think what the real reason that I ended up throwing it out is because I had put it in the freezer, and then at a certain point, the freezer got turned off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, there's a fully unsalted, unprocessed, just raw ass hide in this freezer. I don't remember when we turned it off, so this is no longer a nice hide. This is now decomposing, disgusting thing that needs to be gotten rid of. So
I had them all laid out on a tarp, salted in the sun, trying to get them as dry as possible before I put them in the bin. So,
I mean,
if
it doesn't like,
is still in there.
If it doesn't smell like death, you know, if the shed hasn't smelled like death at any point, then that's a pretty good indicator that at least most of them are mostly fine.
I also feel like if there's no damage, like no animal like rooting in there, I feel like there's nothing then for them to want to eat. So it's probably not good. You know, it's not bad.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Not, you know.
Friday, I'm not giving you cookies. You didn't even eat that chicken head that Amanda gave you. And now you want my ricotta cookies. No, not happening. Sorry. I don't.
You can have a pepper from the plate.
Yeah.
If you take it daintily. Bernie would eat it.
Well done. Good job. Here. You like healthy snacks. Okay. Yes. Good girl.
Somebody called about eggs.
Of course. No eggs right now. I'm podcasting. Oh, so what other winter projects do we have lined up? We've got soap, hides. I don't know. I mean, I'm already kind of like in full on dreaming about, you know, what we're going to do to expand. Because I mean, right now we have I don't even remember what the dimensions of our thing are. It's like, well, it's 100 feet by 45 feet, I think, something like that, which is, I mean, enough. Like, I mean, it's a lot, especially because we have like drip line and, you know, it's covered. It's, you know, got weed barrier and stuff. And so much of it I planted, just ended up planting flowers this year because I was just like, I don't even know what else to put here, you know, I'll just put flowers, you know, as a holding, you know, space. And I grew a lot of squash, which is most of the chest freezer outside is like over 200 pounds of summer squash.
Yeah.
Put up. So speaking of, if you need any summer squash over the winter, if you have a hankering, like by all means, let me know. I mean, I have other stuff, you know, that I preserved from your farm as well. Like I know you were so busy that you probably didn't really get a chance to do a whole lot of putting up. That'll be another thing about
sauce and jalapenos.
Yeah.
When I did cowboy candy.
What's cowboy candy? Like pig candy?
So it's like I guess it's like a syrup vinegar.
Oh, okay.
Kind of base for the jalapenos. So I did quite a few of those because I'm thinking those would be really good on cream cheese.
Yeah, that would be good on cream cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm doing lots of red and green.
Okay.
Christmas cream cheese.
Yeah, I've got a ton of summer squash put up, and I've got some tomatoes because I made a lot of salsa, but we just ate that straight. I would just make like a gallon of salsa and then just eat it all.
I made it by the jar and we ate it all. Right. Yeah. So I don't have any salsa.
I have, when I didn't do that with the tomatoes that we had this year, I just cut them up. I didn't even bother blanching them or anything. I just like cut them up and throw them in a bag, vacuum seal them, throw them in the freezer, because then I'll just, use that for sauces and stuff. And rather than spending the time that I didn't have, during tomato season to like go to the trouble of making sauces in advance and then like canning it and stuff, just like fuck it, freezer.
Yeah.
It's just way easier.
I'm really hoping that having the year off means that I can stock a pantry.
Yeah.
Because the pint jars aren't going to cut it. I need quart jars.
Yeah.
Like, right, for my family.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still have green beans like crazy. So I did a lot of pickled green beans last year.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just going to end up freezing them. But I still have 5 pigs to pick up. So I have to do some more meat Tetris before I can start doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never canned green beans.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know how they
see, like, I mean, canning is great knowledge to have and stuff. Like, honestly, like, I don't prefer like canned vegetables.
Right.
So,
well, a lot of my
because
stuff
to do
I
it safely,
like frozen. Yeah.
Yeah. Like to can safely, you end up with something that is like fully cooked already, or it's pickled. I'm not like a huge fan of a lot of pickled foods.
Right.
Like, I'm very sensitive to something being like too acidic on my palate. So I don't, I have like a lot of like cucumbers and stuff that I did pickled and whatnot, but yeah, but like green beans, I know I won't eat them. I know it's a great way to save stuff, but like, I know I won't eat it. And like the same way that goes with like any canned vegetable. It's just like, I don't like it. I would much rather have a blanched and frozen version, because then it's not cooked to hell and back already, and then I can do
and
whatever
we don't want it to mush after you have to like reheat whatever the thing is.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't want it to just turn into like soupy, mushy. Like that doesn't do anything for me.
So a lot of this, I freeze like corn. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know. I want it to be still crunchy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times, I just wasn't sure if there was a recipe that you had for canned green beans.
Nope. I would just blanch them and freeze them.
Right. Yeah.
So if you need me to blanch,
I did like the pickled though in like drinks. So like I like them in like Bloody Marys.
Oh, you're a Bloody Mary person?
Oh yeah.
I cannot get behind
They're
a savory
healthy.
booze drink.
It's healthy.
It's a savory booze drink though.
There was a time that I know that I don't know if lettuce. I was juicing lettuce.
Wow. You could also just drink a cup of water.
You could. But we had a ridiculous amount of lettuce at one point.
Yeah.
I did juice lettuce before.
I still have a lot of stuff out there that I have not, like, since I did the farmer's market in September, and that like took me away from doing literally it was just all hands on deck every day, preparing for and then doing, and then one day of like recovering from the farmer's market in Berlin. I feel bad because I did well, it was a valuable experience, and now I know that I have like a standing invitation to do it again, but it's just like, I can't. My whole September went to that, which meant that my whole September, which would usually be like preserving stuff, planting stuff for the fall months, all of that, late summer, early fall stuff. Like I just did none of it out in the farm, and instead was just like making an ass load of jams and stuff, which was fun and, worthwhile. And now I have a whole lot of jams. I need to make more. I have to order more jars so that I will have more jams to take to your Thanksgiving market here.
I know. And I'm going to talk to some more of the vendors at the farmer's market. I tried to get native plant lady.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love how we just like have not heard anything about that, which expected. Yeah.
But I'm hoping that maybe she can come, because really she's got a lot of good. Right now is planting season, so I feel like people might want to buy them. I mean, I bought 2 of her Halloween mums.
Yeah.
She created some mums a few years ago. Yeah. So, but I mean, like, she's got some cute stuff that I think people, my people might care for. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
who else do you have that is going to be?
I have to talk to Wendy and make sure that she's going to be able to do that, because she's open at the shop the Mary Haven. Again, Wendy is at the Mary Haven. So I'm not sure if she'll be able to do both, but I know that she's open at the shop that day. But I'm hoping that she can. And then I'm gonna talk to the farmers market people and see what they want to do.
Yeah. Which farmers market people do you? I mean, Trish. I imagine.
I would say Helen had already asked if she wanted to.
Oh, the Snow Hill farmers market people.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure if I would maybe contact Buzz Meadery. I know that they're going to open the tap house and they're might be a little bit busy, but just in case they had mead that they wanted to bring to the farm.
Yeah.
I like when they bring their truck of mead.
Yeah. I've still not tried like any of their stuff.
Oh,
yeah. I know. I like mead. And
it's effervescent mead though. It's not like the thick mead that like you think of like with the like Renaissance Festival.
Oh no, yeah, thing. Like we were friends.
It's a really light.
Yeah, I'm friends with a brewer too, and there was one guy that had a proper mead brewery and tap house in Detroit. Yeah, and I know mead is good.
Yeah,
I
had no idea.
Yeah, I know it can be really really.
I did not know. I thought it was not. I thought it was something that was thicker.
Like some syrupy, sort of medieval kind of concoction. So, no, you can make, I mean, it's like, really, it's great, in the same, I mean, it can be, it can also be gnarly, like in the same way that beer or cider can be. It's just,
I like all their flavor combinations that they do.
Yeah.
They had one, like pumpkin spice and everything nice or something like that. And it was very, very tasty for the fall.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice basic bitch.
Yeah. Mead. And I like all of the fact that they harvest from all around here. Like they put the ingredients on the bottle, what farms they got their ingredients from.
So they are like part of Buzz Meadery is like the couple that does gin and juice.
That is them.
Right. It's just them, or are they partnered with somebody else?
That's them.
It's just them. Okay. That's what I thought. I didn't know if it was just them or if they had, a partnership as well.
I mean, I don't think so. I don't know of any other partners. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have that and then Gin and Juice, but they also were farmers before all of that. And they have a goat farm. Like they still have goats and everything. Nice. But they were farming and kind of inspired us to start farming. So it was.
So now we know who to be mad at.
Well, we all were drinking the same Kool-Aid, so it's fine. But it's one of those where you definitely, we were all trying to do a very similar thing to support the masses. Yeah. But yeah, no, they definitely are doing awesome stuff with their, with the honey. Like, I mean, that's a awesome product. Value added products to add to, to use other farms to create the value added product. I love that.
Are they involved in the actual beekeeping end of things as well?
I think
or
they use Apex.
Okay.
I'm not sure who that is, but I think that's what it says on their bottles, that they use that farm for their honey. But I know that they also have bees at their farm. Yeah. But I think that they have a smaller scale at their farm. And then outsource their honey for their
well, making. I mean, that's obviously if you're brewing mead,
a whole lot of honey.
Like you need a sort of commercial scale production.
I'm pretty sure it's Apex Farm is what they use. I honestly was just looking at one of the bottles the other day. That's why I think I remember. But yeah, no, they also go to producer only farmers markets as well. So I appreciate that about them too. So, as a grown here, sold here establishment, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's wild that, I mean, most of the farmers markets around are not producers only. Right. They which I don't know, they capitalize on that vibe, but then you actually read what their, policies are and stuff. Or you go to the farmers market and you're like, you're selling apples in May. I'm fairly certain you did not grow those apples here. All of your produce looks like it's grocery store produce.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
It's a huge bummer. seeing produce stands at the end of somebody's road and seeing that they have melons on there at the beginning of the spring and knowing that they were bought.
Yeah.
It gives the consumer the wrong impression. And then I get asked when I'm going to have those products, and I'm not going to have those products because they don't grow well for me, right?
Yeah.
Or they don't grow well,
or they don't grow out of season here,
right?
Yeah.
Like until for months.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think one of the big things that, one of the most major hurdles with trying to be a small market farm is the educational sort of end of things, and the fact that like there's just this gap of knowledge that because, for the last like 2 generations, most people don't know anything about growing any food. They don't know how it's produced. They don't know about growing seasons. They're so used to just like buying whatever they want to from the grocery store, which has stuff shipped in from all over the place. And it's like, well, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't have melons in May, like that's not for me, not possible to grow a melon, way out of season. So people just are so unfamiliar with that, there's not only that problem, but then it's like, well, people don't know what to do with a food because it's not already prepared for them. There's just like there's so many hurdles, in being a successful small market farm. And, at least in our area, that like sort of food culture and culture of sort of knowledge and familiarity with farming, even on like or gardening on the lowest level, is so absent that, people expect things from you that are simply impossible,
right.
Or they don't know how to make use of the products that you're offering.
Right.
There's just, we've gotten really far away from a culture of eating locally, eating seasonally, and people just don't have the ability to do that. And so, that's why part of, as I've kind of gotten my feet, into this here, I've realized like, well, I feel like what I can offer more of is more on the educational end of things.
Yeah.
And rather than trying to do that only locally, because I don't even know how it would do that locally, it's just like, well, let's do a podcast, let's do some Instagram videos of like how to do something with beets,
Well, collaboration of showing people what to do with some of the things that I was selling this year was awesome because people were actually seeing them and actually doing the things and learning how to, take a dirty beet and actually, eat it as opposed to go, I don't really know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Or a whole chicken or, even the burger. Like I had people say, oh, that was a really good, tutorial. And that's just seasoning a burger.
And it's literally just salt and pepper.
But people don't know.
Yeah.
And it's shocking that people don't know, but people don't know.
Yeah.
People don't know that, like, when you get the, 100% beef, it's not necessarily 100% beef.
Yeah.
Sometimes ours is, but like, it's just changing people's mindset from buying a packaged food that's already ready to eat versus cooking something themselves. Has been very hard for the last few years.
Yeah. And it is like, it's absolutely an uphill battle. Because, a lot of people are like overworked. They lack the sort of knowledge. They lack the comfort in the kitchen. Like there are a million very reasonable variables that explain why people are less familiar with how to make use of like whole foods and stuff.
Right. Like all the chicken parts live on the chicken.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 breasts on a whole chicken.
Yeah.
There's two breasts on a whole chicken. There's 2 thighs. There's drumsticks. There's all those pieces, and you get a better value and more chicken if you get a whole chicken.
Yeah. And then you can make stock out of
like so
everything that
meals.
You can't pick off of it.
Right.
And but people just, they just don't necessarily know. And so, aspirationally, if I can help to like bridge that gap, and I'm like not an expert. I've never been to culinary school, like I this is all avocational sort of knowledge that I have gained over, years of just fussing around in the kitchen myself. Like I don't necessarily feel, I don't feel qualified to do anything in life.
Same.
Which is why there's no format for this podcast.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not formulated into like a thing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think, you know, in terms of food preparation, I feel like a lot of people get really easily overwhelmed by, you know, like I watch a lot of cooking programming and stuff. And for me, like I have an intuition that I've built up over, you know, many years in the kitchen. But I think, you know, for people who haven't spent as much time being like focused on food as I have in life, you know, it can just be super overwhelming, and it feels like you have to have all of the specialized tools, all of the, you know, gigantic library of spices, you know, like that you have to have all this special stuff to be able to make good food. And, you know, if I can do anything, it's to help people know, like, no, you can be very improvisational, you know, like all you need to know is like, there, you know, you need to know some basic principles of the food that you're working with, but like, there's a ton of room for experimentation. You don't need to be an expert. I'm
Right.
certainly not, you know, like you can mess up and still save your meal. You know,
Right.
there's like plenty of, you know, there's a lot of flexibility.
Even if you cut a chicken wrong, it's still chicken.
Yeah, like it's
like
not
even
gonna,
if you follow a tutorial on how to cut up a chicken and you hack at it and it looks terrible, it
doesn't
will
matter. It's
still
gonna taste
be
good.
chicken.
Yeah.
So really, it's a lot of the times, like I know for me, I didn't really cook a whole chicken until we had children.
Yeah.
And then we started buying from the farmer's market. It's a cheaper value to buy a whole chicken.
Yeah.
Right. So you buy a whole chicken. And I had to learn knife skills.
Yeah.
These are things that not necessarily everybody understands, that you just need a sharp knife sometimes.
Yeah.
And then that's apprehensive already because then you're using a sharp knife.
Yeah.
So sometimes things like that you have to overcome. But if you know that you're getting something that's better, that kind of, if you have that mentality, then that trumps everything else. So if you feel like it's worth it, that you will learn.
Yeah.
And that's the disconnect that I have, is that a lot of people don't feel that it's worth it. It's easier and faster to get the chicken breast frozen in that bag.
Yeah.
That has like the ice over it.
Yeah. And that has like weird, like
pieces. There's weird like chunks and weird.
Yeah. Like, and there's like gristly bits that shouldn't be there, you know,
that's the big deal.
Like, that
for me.
I don't understand. Cause like I've never like processed the whole chicken and ended up with the kind of like
pieces
bits,
that
like
you see
bristly
frozen
bits.
on them.
And it's just, you can tell this was not a healthy animal.
After we started doing it, thinking about like what I have, used in the past, like that bag of frozen chicken breasts, right? And taking those out and seeing that it looks like a breast, and then there's just like those weird frozen things that are still there or whatever. That's not in ours.
Yeah.
Like right when John's processing it, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different stuff.
Like,
and it's pretty gnarly.
Very grateful for the food that I have, because nothing weird is in it.
Yeah. Or if it is, you're like, oh yeah, I recognize.
Well, it's like it's chicken or pork or beef.
Yeah.
As opposed to the stuff at the store, like I don't know why that chicken has that piece.
Yeah.
What kind of piece is that?
Yeah.
Why did that chicken grow that piece?
Yeah.
What did it have to overcome and make that piece grow?
Yeah. So, well, I'm very excited because we have a number of people that have also expressed interest in coming and bullshitting with us.
I like that a lot too.
Yeah, so we'll see. I know Megan, my hair expert.
Also, a person who enjoys the meats from my farm.
Yes, yeah. So, did she come over yesterday? Because she was running a million errands and stuff, and she came over here, and I just like loaded her up on like every herb that I have, and I was just like, because she's like really trying to get into, you know, like more not just like herbalism and, you know, from a, you know, in the kitchen sort of standpoint. So I, gave her a little tour and tried to like give her, a little crash course and like what things are good for her and
That's
whatnot.
awesome.
So she
Yeah.
took like a big bag and she
Sweet.
tried to pay me. I was just like, no, I have to come in and we need to like do a couple more things with my hair here. So
Yeah.
we're just trading. But
Well,
she said she was going to maybe try and stop by your place after they had like one of their kids' birthday parties or something
yeah,
to
I
go
was
to
gonna say
yesterday.
that's what Betsy
So
was at too. It was a good birthday party day, I guess.
I guess
yesterday.
so, yeah.
No, she didn't stop by, but hopefully she can come by on the Thanksgiving market. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I might reach out to them and see if they want a turkey, just because I hadn't seen them in a while.
Yeah. I bet that she would be into that. Yeah, for sure.
But she does John's boss's hair as well.
Oh, does she?
So I see what she does. It's
Yeah.
good work.
Yeah. I
good
trust.
work
Yeah,
over
I
there.
trust her with my life and self-esteem. So
Yeah.
I always feel bad too because it's like she does such a nice job, and then I do this with my hair, which
Well,
is just
yeah.
like I wash my hair once a week, and I like just pile it on top of my head, and I'm a complete gremlin. I'm sorry, Megan.
Well,
But that's why I got like a semi like mullet sort of situation because I was just like I can abuse this and it'll still look like the right kind of stylish in theory. So
I take Graham and the boys across the street to
Mhm.
the hairstylist over there,
oh yeah.
and I cut my own hair and I do all my own stuff, and she's
Yeah.
just like, "What did you do to your hair?" And I was like, "Oh, a goat ate it a little bit, so I just tried to like even it out." And she's like, "It's not."
I mean, your hair looks pretty good for somebody who's having goats eat it and like is cutting it themselves.
I
So
was like, I thought I did a pretty good job.
yeah,
And she's like,
no, it's good.
but yeah, no, she's not ever done my hair at all.
But she's totally open to like barter, so you could always just like pay her in meat for like
But
a
I
good
do
haircut
for the kids'
sometime.
haircuts.
Yeah,
It's not for me.
yeah,
I'm just like, yeah, no, I think I'm good.
yeah.
I just took the scissors to it.
Yeah, I hate myself and want to look bad, so
Well,
don't worry about
Well,
it.
it's like I don't really care really what it looks
Yeah.
like. It's
Yeah.
what it looks like. You could style it or do whatever, but this is what it's going to look like the
Yeah,
next day.
yeah. No, I got Ann haircut a year
Yeah.
usually, just because it's like the ends start looking pretty gnarly. And this year I decided I was like, I've been thinking about doing something that like actually maybe has some style, but doesn't require me to style it for a while. So I finally pulled the trigger and got bangs, like any rational, sane,
Right.
well-adjusted human in their late 30s does, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So,
I mean,
but yeah, so she
or
said
a
she.
perm.
Yeah, no, not doing that. We'll wait until I have some other sort of break from reality before I get a perm. I've already decided to get bangs and start a podcast in the same month. I feel like we're already in like risky waters. So,
I know. Yeah.
but yeah, she said she's excited to come on. Trisha is excited. Who else? There's an Albanian girl who goes by the Cultured Parlor on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I've seen.
And I think she might want to come on and have some snacks and talk about like fermented foods and, like,
sounds
and
good.
her, sort of food background, which is cool. Yeah, so we'll see. I feel like we'll probably do another couple, just us, to see if we feel
Yeah.
like confident about doing it. But
To see how all of this turns into something.
yeah. No, it should be interesting. I am, I was gonna say I'm looking forward to editing, but that means I actually have to like watch myself
I was
and
gonna
then
say, that
listen to
seems
myself
like
talk.
the part
And
that I'm really glad that I don't have to do.
yeah, no, like I'm very excited to have like a full on existential crisis.
'Cause I would just
Watching myself
Right, I would
talk
just
for
watch
an hour and a half. It's gonna rule, actually.
I'll be
So
like, why did I do that? Why am I doing that with my face?
what's wrong? Yeah, like what's wrong with no? But we have this camcorder is very forgiving, so you probably won't be able to see us make too many horrible faces. You
Well,
just
my
have to
face
tolerate.
just is the way it is.
It just is horrible.
it's
I
not-
can't stop it.
Yeah, it's not really what my face is doing. It's just that my face exists.
Yeah.
As it
Why did
is.
we agree? Why did we decide to do this? Like we both hate ourselves and are uncomfortable being
Well,
seen.
I always like this to me is kind of okay, but then once I do this, then it's like
Is it
not
you don't
as
like your
much.
nose?
It's just very large.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
also have like a very large nose, so it's good. We have distinctive profiles. It's fine.
Right, and I just use it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I feel like this is the way that I am a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good. Hopefully we don't totally hate this whole project and, feel comfortable
I mean,
putting
this
it
is
out
what we
there.
look like.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help it. I am what I am. In my pajamas.
Right, this is what I
with
look like.
fucked up hair, just generally being gross.
I feel like because
I think you actually showered for this.
I did.
Nope.
I was more because I feel like, if people are going to watch this and
they can't smell me from the internet.
they
It's
can,
fine.
see a shirt.
They might not even be able to read that text with the
know.
resolution on this camera.
I can, make people go to other places, right? Go to the Mary Haven this time.
Yeah.
The next shirt might be something cool. I don't know.
I'm sure all of our viewers who are in fucking Nevada or something are gonna make the trip out to Snow Hill, Maryland, in the
Snow Hill.
Yeah, the Maryland Peninsula, which may as well be the upper peninsula of Michigan for how accessible it is. But
you can also come to the farm. You can also buy herbs from Alyssa. So.
Yeah, or you don't have to. You can just.
I mean, or not.
Just give me money through the internet, and I'm fine with that.
Works too.
I would rather deal with that than having to interact with actually human beings.
Left
so yeah. For now, and then maybe in the future, at some point, at some unspecified time in the future, they'll be able to come as well.
Because we'll have so many fruits.
Yes.
Fruits.
Yeah. I mean, your property is going to be awesome in like 10 years once everything is like fully mature. It's just going to be like a,
just with the amount of
little
trees
Garden
that
of
he
Eden.
put in.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
That's what I mean. Between all the fruit trees and the, berry bushes and stuff, it's going to be an incredible, bountiful retirement that you'll end up having.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know. That's why I got to get started planting fruit trees and stuff here, because especially if I get little guys, for $3.
I know, right? So that's why
it's going to be a decade before I get fruit off of them.
Yeah.
So, better start now so that when I'm like 50, I can actually have some fruits to enjoy. So, but better late than never.
Exactly. Right. But any time is a good time to plant a tree.
Yeah.
Right. Like, honestly, like for your property or for any property, it's just awesome to watch a tree.
Yeah, I mean, the right time to plant a tree was like years ago, always, but if you didn't do it years ago, do it now.
But that's what,
because your future self will thank you. Even if you move away from that place, the people who live there next will thank you. The wildlife will thank you.
And you will always be able to drive by and be like, oh, look at the tree. Look how it looks now.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just one of those things that really is nice to have a tree.
Yeah. I still go on like Google Street View and occasionally just like go look at the house that we had in Detroit because we planted a cherry tree and we planted some pear trees and stuff. And I'm just like, how are the trees doing? See the yearly update or whatever.
Yeah, trees are harder to take out than shrubs.
Yeah.
So plant a tree if you want to look at it again.
Yeah.
Don't plant a shrub because chances are the new homeowner will rip all that out.
Yeah.
We went by the old house like right after we moved in, and we were like taking everything out, and John's like,
"No!" You should have just stopped and been like, "Well, I'll take that back."
It was like all of the boxwoods, all like everything, and we're just like,
yeah.
It was a small yard with a lot of landscaping that he did.
Yeah.
So the upkeep, I can only imagine, is very like you have to mulch it every year and keep up with it for it to stay, weed free and everything. So I understand. But it was like one of those where we're like,
yeah. Well, fuck me, I guess. I don't know why I did that.
John, did you drive by?
Yeah.
But the pear trees are still looking good over there. So, like I said, trees are harder to take out.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing to try and, get rid of an established tree. But so yeah, what time are we at, Matt? 1:37? Oh, you paused it. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, that seems like enough, probably. I feel like we can wrap up episode 0 here. And I think it went well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun.
At least you can edit it to like 15 minutes.
Pretty sure I can. I don't think I need to cut out an hour and a half. I don't think that's necessary. We'll see. Might edit it down to like an hour, but yeah, we'll see. Nice. Well, signing off. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, peace out, folks.
Is that what we're gonna say at the end of our podcast? Peace out. Okay, Grandma.
Oh my gosh, I know. I talked to Mom this morning, and she came yesterday, so maybe I still have a little.
Yeah, you got residual boomer energy leeching off of you.
Sure. This morning was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. If you did, we'll see you sometime. Bye.